One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Historic meeting between European leaders, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and President Trump. Concluding with the leaders about an hour ago. However, it's still continuing at the White House. It comes just 3 days after President Trump met with Russian leader Vladimir Putin in Alaska. President Trump says one of his goals is to set up a three-way summit with Putin and Zelensky. He says he thinks a deal to end the war can be reached. Now, the meeting lasted longer than anticipated. Leaders started arriving there at about 1 p.m. this afternoon. They are still at the White House, we're told, in the Oval Office. President Trump and Zelensky have been meeting in the Oval Office with others for about 20 minutes. We plan to have an exclusive interview with Ukrainian President Zelensky should that meeting end before 7 p.m.
Sometimes in live television and live broadcasting, what you plan isn't what actually happens. So, it is now 7:05. I'm not sure if they're done yet. Something happened. I'm going to tell you what happened. And the meeting that was over somehow is still continuing. That was Brett Baer. Brett Baer's show comes on at about 6 o'clock, I believe. And when I got that piece, it still hadn't concluded. And I'm looking at the feeds here, and people are like, wait a second, are we not done yet? We don't know. We don't know what they're doing right now. Everybody's wondering. They went back in and huddled. Part of the reason for the re-huddle, if you will say, is this. President Trump posted this at 6:04, which is obviously after the time when Brett Baer goes on television. I had a very good meeting with distinguished guests, President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine, President Emmanuel Macron, Alexander Stubb, Giorgia Meloni, Keir Starmer, what's the other guy's name? Friedrich Merz, and Ursula von der Leyen, as well as with Secretary General of NATO, Mark Rutte, in the White House, which ended in a further meeting in the Oval Office. So they had one meeting, that we all saw. Then they had meeting after they cut the cameras. Then they went back and huddled in the Oval Office. Okay, so during the meeting, we discussed security guarantees for Ukraine, which guarantees would be provided by the various European countries with a coordination with the United States of America. Everyone is very happy about the possibility. Well, not everyone. Not everyone is happy with the possibility of peace for Russia, Ukraine. You know the media, you know the deep state, they're not happy whatsoever. At the conclusion of the meetings, this is where it gets really interesting. At the conclusion of the meetings, I called President Putin and began the arrangements for a meeting at a location to be determined between President Putin and Zelensky. So, just to, if you guys couldn't read fast enough, they're having this big meeting. He excuses himself. He goes and calls President Putin, and he starts arranging the meeting for him and Zelensky to sit down. Right there in the meeting. After that meeting takes place, we will have a trilateral meeting, which would be the two presidents plus myself. Again, this was very good. Early step for a war that has been going on almost 4 years. Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and Steve Witkoff are coordinating with Russia and Ukraine. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And I want to point you to the time. So at 6:04, President Trump posted that. In the midst of everything that's going on, they pumped the brakes. Hey, listen, let me call Vlad over in Russia. Let's see what his schedule looks like. Let's see if we can get this done right now. That's what a deal maker does. They don't have to leave the table if we're close. So that should give you a little bit of insight. No done deal, but nobody walked away from the table. They're still in the Oval Office as I'm checking and looking, because on my feed here, just to let you know, it says that Keir Starmer, in addition to Zelensky saying he was going to Fox, Keir Starmer from the UK, he was talking about doing a press conference at 6:45. Didn't happen. So they're still in the Oval Office. Don't know what the heck is going on in there, but I just want to make sure everybody knew whatever's happening is still happening. It has not ended as of yet. So I'm going to do my regular show that I had planned. And if we do break in with some additional news, then we'll see what exactly is going on. All right, so this is some of the stuff I assembled for you while we were in between shows.
And this is the part that's occupied here by Russia. This part is still occupied by Ukraine. And that's the part that Vladimir Putin has got his sights set on, and he wants to gain in any kind of a peace deal here. Now, what's interesting is that...
Okay, so you can see on that map with John Roberts there, and I tried to freeze it earlier, that is that little area. Oh, I won't say little, it's two big sizes on the eastern edge or western edge of Russia, eastern edge of the Ukraine. Those two red spots, that's what Putin wants. I will stop, and I should say it this way, give me back this land. This is what the big thing is. It was Russian land, and then it became Ukraine, and most of the people who live in that area, they want to be Russians. They actually want to be with the Russian country. Now, if you notice, those two countries abut. They're very, very close together. And I would like you to understand, both from Putin's perspective and Zelensky's perspective, what the issue is here. The issue is you got a big old country called Russia, and this guy has got nuclear power, and he could take your country at any time. Zelensky's like, we're a little country comparatively, and we're at if he decides to come at us, there's nothing we can do but fight. And if you put that same perspective and said, okay, let's imagine, I don't know, Mexico was on our doorstep, which they are, because that's basically the same type of thing. They're right there. Or Canada, they're right there. Would you want either Mexico or Canada to be a threat to to your well-being, your lives. And that's what Ukraine is looking for. So in that regards, we can give Zelensky a little bit of leeway and say, hey, man, I don't want this big guy coming over here and kicking our butt whenever he feels like it. Can you go ahead and give us some protection? So, you know, if Vlad wakes up one day and says, I want Ukraine, then he can't do it. So I understand that part. I think he's been belligerent about it because the stuff in the red there, you're going to have to give it up. Yeah, that's what he wants in order to stop it. And if you're talking to a bigger adversary who's saying, I want this in order to stop the other stuff. Doesn't sound right, may not make you happy, but it'll save you the rest of that stuff in the yellow. And that's what Zelensky has to focus on. If I give up this stuff in the red, which those people don't want to be here anyway, I'll save everything else in the yellow. And I need you guys to make sure all this stuff in the yellow, I get to keep. Because otherwise we have no idea if one day he wakes up and says, well, that's fine, I want more. So that's where we are at this point right now.
Ukraine is saying, well, wait a second, you don't occupy that territory, so why would we ever give it away? And according to a poll that was done recently in Kiev, 78% of Ukrainians say, we're not giving Russia any territory that they don't already control. But here's the reason why that is so important. So you have here three cities, Sloviansk, Kramatorsk, and Konstantinivka. These are major population centers. There's still about 300,000 people living here. But very importantly is that these two cities of Sloviansk and Kramatorsk, those were headquarters for the military since 2014 when Russia moved into this area. So there's a heavy defense line. We talk about this being the fortress wall along here. And this is what Russia has been trying to penetrate and can't, because the Ukrainian forces are so embedded in here that the Russians just can't get through. But if those properties went to Russia in any kind of a peace agreement, here is the concern, that this area here is pretty much flat farmland going all the way into the center part of Ukraine. And if Russia now controls this part of Donetsk, it would be easy to move forces, as these arrows from the Institute of War is suggesting, into the rest of Ukraine and maybe eventually drive up to Kharkiv here, maybe even drive further in toward Kiev. So that's the real concern about Ukraine giving this territory to Russia without some sort of bona fide security agreement with the United States and its European partners. So
to some extent, the guy's been an idiot and he's stolen hundreds of billions from us. But you have to understand a little bit, yeah, we want to make sure we're safe. We don't just want this guy to roll in tanks whenever he feels like it and says, I'm taking more and more. And so I think that's a give and take. I think that's something that both of them give up this much, you can have it. Don't come further. These guys are going to back me up if you try to come further. So it kind of makes sense. And it's not good or a optimal deal for either side, but that's what a compromise is. We're going to compromise right now. We're going to keep you in check, and you are going to give me this land. Neither party likes it, but it should be good enough. So we'll see what happens.
Here's your kind of a lay of the land of where we are. Now let's go for the strategic analysis. Jillian.
Thank you, John. Let's go ahead and bring in Fox News senior strategic.
All right, so that's where we are. And as of 7:15 right now, we're still in a holding pattern. We don't know what's going on. So we shall see. During the meeting, this happened.
Very interesting Oval Office meeting that we saw there. A little bit of the weave, a little bit of meandering on some topics that the president likes to go off topic on, but largely he was trying to stay pretty disciplined on the questions that he was being asked there, Boris, whether it was about, he kept going back to we need to end the war, but he was actually asked at one point, who has the better cards? And even then he said, I don't want to say that. And we'll remember that last time during his meeting with Zelensky, he kept saying, you don't have the cards.
See, the problem with CNN, and the reason why I had titled this video, basically rendering the Democrats irrelevant and the end game, is because after again, you all saw it, you all watched it, you heard the meeting, you heard what was said, and right away CNN decided they're going to make fun of Trump. that this was a complete loss. And so some of the media went right back into what they normally do and just try to deflect and say this is horrible.
It was teed up for him, and he did not take a whack at that piñata.
And notably, it was soon after that meeting where he actually called Volodymyr Zelensky a dictator on social media. And this time, he agreed with Zelensky that having elections in Ukraine in the middle of a war would be untenable. The president was asked about the extent of U.S. support in the form of security guarantees or even U.S. troops on the ground. President Trump saying that we're going to work with Ukraine and work with everybody. We're going to make sure this is a lasting peace, he said. As you well know, Vladimir Putin is not one to keep agreements historically when it comes to Ukraine. So President Trump...
they're pooping all over it, right there. Putin, as you know, Putin's not one to keep agreements. You mean with the other presidents? They can't help themselves because they realize what is about to happen. It may not happen in the next hour or so, but it looks like it's pretty much inevitable. And what I mean is inevitable is their demise. They can't keep telling you what you're seeing with your own eyes isn't true. And you could almost see tonight, as I was watching different newscasts, I could almost see an evolution taking place. They did this piece immediately after the Oval Office meeting. And then I'm going to follow it up with another screaming banshee moment. You'll see. And then watch as the moderation begins to happen.
Saying here, though unspecific, that he is trying to ensure peace for the region. Very different from what we saw earlier this year between President Trump and President Zelensky, and also between Zelensky and J.D. Vance, the vice president. You noted to me that as the camera started rolling in the room, there appeared to be an exchange, a chuckle between the vice president and Zelensky.
They were laughing ahead of time. And just to note, before we, of course, go back to Ukraine, he did also talk about this D.C. crime, which we should note is down. But there, of course, has been this federal takeover of D.C. police. He said someone called...
See, they go right to the false narrative. You know, DC crime, he's talking about, hold on, can we stop you here? Can we let you know it's actually down? Until these people are held accountable, until they're completely made to tell the truth, this is going to continue, well, for some of them anyways, until it's actually stomped out, until the people who actually own them realize we can't make any money with your lies anymore. It's just not working. It's sorry. It's played. It's tired. It's not working. We're going to fact check everything the president says. Oh, by the way, crime's actually down. Well, go ahead and walk outside. Go ahead.
And said, my wife and I went out for dinner last night for the first time in 4 years. I mean, quite frankly, when you look at the D.C. crime numbers, that is more indicative of a marital problem than a crime problem, and actually reservation.
This is a national newscast. You just heard her say that. Yeah, a national news network, CNN, albeit as sucky as they be, she just said that is indicative of a marriage problem rather than D.C. What are we listening to? We're listening to, as I've told you, agonal breathing.
Have sharply dipped since that takeover, we should just mention.
I think everybody needs to realize how Donald Trump has shaped the people who are asking questions. That guy who looked at Zelensky and said, how many people are you sending to their death? When everybody in America knows that it was Zelensky that is trying to defend his people from an attack.
You see it, right? Grandma here, McCaskill, they can't deal with it. They need this war to continue. Everything about this Ukraine, Russia, I've mentioned it many times. I told you yesterday, this is Monsters, Inc. And I will continue to say, you can see them right now screaming that they need this boogeyman. If this boogeyman goes away, what do they do? What do they talk about? When you look at the Democrat Party right now, and you look at it through a clear lens, and you can ask any Democrat, it's a very simple thing. What do you have to offer? You want people to vote for you. What do you have as an alternative to Trump other than I hate Trump, everything he does sucks? What about us? What do you have to offer us? And you could watch an all-day routine on any of those networks and they never say anything positive about America. Nope, never. And so their credibility is completely out the window because you cannot say with any certainty what is good in America. Oh, that's right, we're racist, we're homophobic, we're Nazis, we're fascist. Do you have one adjective to describe something good in America? One. What's good about America? And if you could answer that, maybe you have some vestige of the ability to move forward. Something that people can say, I heard something worthwhile on your station. But you don't. And that's the difference between where things are headed, that puck, and where they are, and how these people are stuck in an endless loop of racist, narcissists, homophobia, transphobia, name it. There's nothing that they can say positive. You can ask some of your liberal friends, hey, okay, I understand, Trump sucks, I get it, right, yeah, he's the worst, yeah. What do you like about America? And you can literally see people stop and there's nothing they can say. There's nothing you like about America right now. I don't want to hear about what you want to change. What is good in America? How is life good in America? They don't have any answers. They even intrinsically, I don't even talk politically. Is your life good? Everything fine? No, their lives aren't even fine. They're completely brainwashed. And so what you're watching play out right in front of you on a daily basis is the growing irrelevancy of the Democrat Party. If they don't want to admit it, at least you can now look at it clearly and go, man, you are rotting meat. You are literally past your expiration date. You need to be taken out in the trash. You got nothing left. Listen to this.
Of Russia? I mean, that guy is from this right-wing media, and he's shaped the press corps so the questions that are being asked, and therefore the tone of the press conference is pro-Putin. That's really dangerous. And
how's it dangerous? Explain to it without, instead of just making that kind of a statement, tell people why it's dangerous for people to be, hey, Putin seems like he's doing okay. Can it never be? Because no, you can't. Because the monster, the big woolly monster, has to be in the closet all the time for the Democrats to work. If the monster, like in the movie, turns into a smiley happy guy, they're screwed. They've pushed all in on these chips a long time ago, and now, unfortunately for them, it's worn off. The spell is gone. It's not the monster in the closet. We're not racist. What do you got left? Nothing. You have a party that is not prepared to even do anything politically positive 2025 and on. It's actually getting worse.
people need to pay attention to what's going on, because that's not the press corps that the White House has typically had. It is being skewed towards the propaganda of Putin.
It is indeed. And Donald.
A few moments.
It is indeed. What in the hell are you talking about? Now she's mad because President Trump and the people in the press room, Trump didn't do it. These people are all independent thinkers. Caitlin Collins is still in there. Maybe they've just run out of gas of lies. What else are you supposed to say over and over and over again? There is no news on the left side of the aisle. None. None. And so they're mad because people aren't talking bad about Putin. We need to tell everybody Putin bad. Real bad. And you're watching what I've been telling you happen in real life. As the Monsters, Inc. movie changes to the second part, where they start looking at people smiling at Putin, they're freaking out. What the hell do we do? Why do these people not see it? This is the bad guy. Now, though, I don't know if out of sheer self-preservation, some people are starting to see it.
later.
Well, the bottom line is it's clear that these conversations are productive. Volodymyr Zelensky, his first remarks were this has been a really good conversation. That in itself is a major difference from where we were at this time 6 months ago after that blow up inside the West Wing and the Oval Office between Presidents Zelensky and Trump. Significantly after that, we also heard from Zelensky, who appeared to express an openness to a conversation about territorial boundaries. So what, if any, boundaries will be changed as a function of this? On the topic of ceasefire, you and I, our eyebrows raised quickly as we saw some of the other leaders push the president on this idea of a ceasefire. The president has made clear he thinks they can go directly to a peace deal. You'll remember the president came in.
Understand, this is MSNBC. The same network that Claire McCaskill is on. This is after it's still going on, after what they thought was the end of the meeting. And they're like, hey, looks like something's happening here. This is newfound territory for MSNBC, which may coincide with something else that happened with MSNBC.
Meeting with Putin saying that, hey, we want to have a ceasefire by the end of this. More than 14 Ukrainians have died in the time since that. So is a ceasefire something that they're open to, or is there the ability to get to that peace deal soon enough? And then finally, I think something that's particularly striking, we should note, it almost feels like they're serving for lunch praise and gratitude, right? A lot more thank yous to Donald Trump this go around here, but at the end.
A lot more thank yous and smiles and platitudes. So you've got world leaders, and here's where the paradox comes in. All these world leaders who you told us for years and years and years hate Trump. They may still hate Trump, but they're realizing daddy's home and he's carrying a big belt. And that big belt he's got two belts. He's got the American military and he's got the American consumer market. And everybody sitting at that table, Germany, Maloney, Macron, Starmer, the European Union lady, they realize, he controls our future. Daddy is home. He's sitting at the table. And now they're realizing, they're talking really nice about him now. Yeah, aren't they? That's what happens when somebody comes in a room with a big stick and says, we're going to get this done or else. When you get that ultimatum, when you're a world leader and another world leader says, come here. That's first of all. You guys remember being kids. You might have been doing crazy stuff, running around until mom or dad said, come here. Huh? I said, come here. Well, we saw that today. These world leaders were summoned to the Oval Office. They all could have said no. They didn't dare. They weren't coming to protect Zelensky from being bullied, as Margaret Brennan said. They knew we don't want to be on this guy's bad side. We need to show up, and then we'll see what he's doing, and it actually makes sense for their countries. You're like, don't make it more than what it is. Every single one of these people sitting around this table, all of them sitting around that table, just like President Trump, their first and foremost job is to make sure something good is happening for their country. Every single one of them. And the first thing good is usually safety. The second thing is our economy. And if President Trump decides, I don't like what you're saying, I'm going to tariff you. I don't like what you're saying, you can't sell your goods here. Hey, France, yeah, no more champagne, you're done. Ooh, better kind of quiet down here. Hey, Germany, no more your cars, no Mercedes, no more BMWs. We're done. They can't afford that. And what you're seeing also is a complete contrast from the last president. They now know there is a new sheriff in town. There is a new sheriff in town, and he's carrying a big stick, and he's not like the other guy. The other guy who they had to go fetch in a field and bring him back to where you need to stand for the picture. Did you notice something with the pictures today? Again, I don't know if this was a comm or not, but as President Trump was walking people through and showing them we're going to take this picture. You like that one? That was the one where he got shot. And he made sure everybody took a look at that picture. And look at that painting right there. That was when they tried to kill me. And he, right in the middle of all these people, that was a power move if there is a power move. Don't let any of the Democrats tell you otherwise. They're now realizing, and I say they're fighting for their survival, and that's the media. The Democrat politicians, tails between their legs, there's nothing they could do. Notice there weren't too many talking about it. Why is that? Because they're irrelevant. Let's continue.
I think clearly it looks like the president has a very condensed timeline. He wants this to happen quickly. He mentioned the word trilat multiple times. His takeaway from his conversations with Vladimir Putin was basically that I believe he wants to get a deal, whether it's for me because of the personal relationship or to put this to an end. He seems to believe that Putin would be on board with some sort of an agreement. Is there a place where these two sides can meet?
Why did he believe that Putin would be open to a deal? This is where it gets really stupid. Because these guys are trying to be soothsayers. They're trying to be some sort of prognosticators when we know why. Anybody with a heartbeat and eyes looked at this thing and went, yesterday or 2 days ago, yeah, those two guys are chummy. They're ready to get a deal done. You could see it if you're actually watching. And then the other people come over here from across the world, and then Zelensky put on some kind of a suit today, and they're all chummy and laughing. So, of course, he wants to get a deal done. And then, well, guess what they didn't know was at the time he was also talking to Putin. See, what a lot of people don't know is what Putin said. Here's a little idea as to what Putin said.
Overall, thanks to President Donald Trump, relations between Russia and the United States are starting finally to get better in some respects. Of course, we still have issues diplomatically, but the first steps are there. We're moving forward. We have contacts between our major agencies, between the State Department and our Foreign Ministry, between our special services, which is really important, you know, because it's really critical to be able to fight terrorism, whatever the situation is, whatever the environment is. And in other agencies too, we have very good prospects in terms of economic development, economic partnership. I know that American businesses are really willing to, they are sending signals that they would like to go back to our market, and we will welcome that, but that requires dialogue. But overall, like I said, that meeting is quite possible.
Of course it's quite possible. So Putin is telling Russian news, which I'm sure MSNBC and the rest of them are monitoring. Yeah, that's possible. That means it's going to happen. He's letting his people know we're about to cut a deal. I'm going to run with one of my sponsors here, and then we're going to come back and we're going to take some questions, not questions, but look at some comments. All right, be right back. Today's show is brought to you by Juvenon. Are you feeling tired, sluggish, or foggy? It could be poor blood flow. Blood Flow 7 by Juvenon is scientifically designed to support healthy circulation, so you'll feel energized, clear-headed, and vibrant again. It's packed with natural ingredients like nitrocygine, I hope I said that correctly, S7, and trans resveratrol. Blood Flow 7 works by boosting nitric oxide levels, a molecule that relaxes blood vessels, helping your blood flow freely to every corner of your body. And that means more oxygen and nutrients to your brain, heart, muscles, and even those places that might need a little extra help as you age.
They call it a lifting. They also use another word, but I'm not going to use that word. You know what that is? The word, it starts with an E. You know what the word is? If I ever used it, I'd be run out of town by you people.
Oh, behave. Yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Oh!
Let's talk about the fact that President Trump incited an erection.
Explanation was not they didn't like Donald Trump. They said he participated in an erection.
With just one dose a day, you can reclaim your stamina, support heart health, and improve overall vitality, all without any caffeine or stimulants. Try Blood Flow 7 today and feel the difference where it matters most, inside your veins. I've got, looks like we've got Macron ready to do an interview. I'm not sure if this is live or when it was taken, but let's go ahead and listen to what the Prime Minister or President of France has to say right now. Hold on. This guy isn't him, so we got a couple of minutes. Let's see, where's the guy? Where is he? Hold on. All right, here he comes. Coming up now. Okay, here we go.
Mathieu pour la régie.
Yes.
Sur les petits cailloux. Là, voilà. Marion.
So he's coming out. I like that. Where he raised at a bar and closed the door. All right, here he comes right now. That was too funny.
Alors, je suis à vous.
Bonsoir, Monsieur le Président. On attendait beaucoup de cette journée. Est-ce qu'elle a produit les résultats que vous espériez?
Je pense qu'en tout cas, cette journée est importante et elle marquera de manière certaine le cours de l'évolution de ce conflit, d'abord par sa configuration inédite, parce que nous nous sommes...
I don't speak French, so I don't know if we can carry that. That's him speaking French to everybody, so I don't know if we're going to hear that. There's no translator. Let me see if I can find any sort of feed with a translator here real quick. But that ain't going to work, bro. Let's see this one. Oh, okay, we got this one here. All right. I hope this guy's speaking English. If he's speaking English, we should hear something here.
Все, що відбувається, і за підтримку. Я б хотів подякувати президенту Трампу за цю зустріч. Це була найкраща з наших зустрічей, це важливо. Окрім того, що ми багато про що поговорили.
All right, none of these guys are speaking English, so I don't know. So we had Macron out in front of the, I believe that was a French embassy. Zelensky is standing out in front of the White House, and I don't speak these languages, okay? So I can't, I'm bringing this stuff up, but this kind of sucks. These guys are talking, but we don't know what the hell they're saying. Let me see if anybody else is talking. Anybody else coming out here? Hold on. I'm clicking my buttons over here to see who's talking. I don't know. I don't know what Zelensky's saying, so I can't show it because I have no idea what the hell he's saying. So let me just shut him up because he's loud over here. but I don't speak Ukrainian. Hold on. All right, so in any event, the meeting is now over. We don't know what exactly these guys are saying. So let's go take some comments real quick here. Push one for English. And if you're French or Ukrainian, I'm sorry. I just don't speak the language, so I have no idea what he was saying. I had to rewind a few times. Who are you talking about, bro? I don't know that. I don't pay attention to anything Mark Cohen says anyway. The only reason why I was paying attention to what they were saying was because the meeting obviously just ended and that perhaps they were going to be talking about some of the stuff at the meeting. I don't know. All right, so we'll carry on, and I'll see if somebody else pops up, and if they do, let me check and see if President Trump has posted anything after the meeting. Yes, he did. All right, hold on. President Trump just posted 13 minutes ago, and President Trump says, Ursula von der Leyen, the distinguished and highly respected President of the European Commission, and I have been discussing, the massive worldwide problem of missing children. This is likewise a big subject with my wife, Melania. It is a subject at the top of all lists, and the world will work together to solve it, hopefully bringing them home to their families. Oh, I told you last night. It was coming. When I read Melania's letter, I'm like, I know what's happening. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. I've been discussing the massive worldwide problem of missing children, and the world will work together to solve it. I didn't know that was going to come out when I said the Democrats are irrelevant, pretty much that they're done. They're done. I mean, and again, I firmly believe, I don't care which side. I don't care if it was a Republican. I don't care if it's a Democrat. Whoever was involved with hurting children, off with their heads. Done. I'm done with you. And all, maybe that's one of the reasons why they all came over here. It was odd that Melania dropped that letter, and then after the meeting is over, out of the blue, with no, there's been nothing he posted about the meeting. This is what he posted at 7:27. I'm speechless. I mean, I'm sitting here reading this and going, oh my gosh, after everything that's happened today, after everything you guys did, you talked about Putin, you talked about NATO, you talked about this. The first post that he makes coming out of the meeting is about missing kids. I don't know, maybe I put too much credence into some things. This is one where at this point I'm going to have to ask you guys, what do you think about that? My gosh, because nobody in the media is going to talk about that. Nobody in the media will even dare show this. They won't even let you see this. Look at the timestamp, 7:27. It's the first post after the meetings. And he ran and did this one. Let's talk. Yeah, wow is right, Leslie. Oh my gosh. Make millstones popular again. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Praying for God's strength for President Trump and God's wisdom. All of the missing children are the modern day Holocaust. And there has been total silence in the U.S. and with world leaders. The First Lady's wish should be honored. Oh, somebody goes, buckle up. Yeah, you're exactly right, Ruby. Buckle up. If that's what came out of that meeting, who knows, did Melania come down and join the meeting? Oh my gosh, I cannot believe that he picked the leader of the European Union and said, let's talk, named her in that post and said, we're talking about getting these kids, the world is going to work. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Thank you, Jesus. Find these children. You're right, Beth. I only saw where mainstream media called Melania's letter embarrassingly stupid. They have to. Oh, my goodness. I told you, Barry, this afternoon, Melania talked about child. Yep. I know. I talked about it yesterday. Put it this way. If nothing else comes out of this meeting, if they're still at war, but they're going to do something for these kids, it's a huge win. And it's going to be a silent win. Just so you know, don't expect a lot of people to be talking about that. Don't expect a lot of people in the media to be trumpeting the fact, no pun intended, that he and Ursula sat down and talked about finding and saving kids. That's third rail stuff right there. That's third rail stuff right there. This is a dream come true, and the angels look at the Father's face when they harm the children. Oh my goodness. Okay, so for some of you guys who might just be tuning in, let's go back and just look at what he wrote. Ursula von der Leyen, the distinguished and highly respected president of the European Commission, and I have been discussing the massive worldwide problem of missing children. This is likewise a big subject for my wife Melania. It is subject at the top of all lists, and the world will work together to solve it, hopefully bringing them home to their families. Oh my gosh. Oh my. The fact that it was even brought up, that these people were talking about it, is stunning. Man, oh man. By the way, I don't know if you noticed today, just a side note, because wondering what this is all about. We're going to cover it as we move forward with the show tonight. But two things happened. Oh, SV's here? Is that a note from SV? Oh, SV's here. Oh, no, that was an old one. He had to run. I wanted to show you this and get your opinion on it. You guys can talk about it. This was very interesting. All right. Let's look at this. Tell me what your thoughts are on this. Breaking. Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey has just been appointed as the co-deputy director of the FBI. He's going to be working alongside, lateral, not above or below. He is going to be working alongside Dan Bongino. Let's see when this was. This was announced at 6:13. So something's happening. Oh, there's nothing happening. Oh, something's happening. Something is definitely happening. Trump's talking to world leaders and he brings up missing children. And all of a sudden, just now, Missouri Attorney General has been appointed a co-deputy director. And then that also coincides with this news, which is huge. Former AG Bill Barr testified under oath today, that President Trump is in no way implicated in the Epstein stuff, and if he was, Biden would have leaked it. That narrative is now out the window, as Barr would have absolutely taken down Trump if he could. Barr said that he had never seen anything that would implicate President Trump in any of this, and if there had been anything pertaining to President Trump with respect to the list, that he felt like the Biden administration would probably have leaked it out. Duh, I think we all understand that. So all this is happening tonight. Tonight, while most people are checking out of work, this is what's going on. Absolute crazy stuff at this point is happening. Wow. Unbelievable. And this was earlier, what I just said to you, just informed you all about this. Breaking: President Trump interrupted his meeting with European leaders to call Vladimir Putin. Things are happening. So, things are most assuredly happening. I don't have time for the people anymore who say nothing's happening. No. So somebody else same guy, Nick, just posted this as well. President Trump says after discussing the issue of missing children with the European Union president, they will be working together to make sure it's the world's top priority. Much thanks to Melania, it's a subject at the top of... World is spinning right now. You guys can all talk about it amongst yourselves later and pray about this, but this is some huge stuff that's getting ready to happen. Unbelievable. Simply unbelievable. I didn't expect that. I did not expect that whatsoever to be happening right now. But we'll take it. We'll definitely take it. California is trying to pass a bill tomorrow to make it easier to traffic children. Yep, I heard that. Janet's like, oh, it's happening all right. It's definitely happening. These people will be exposed. It's funny when I find things like that are outside of the script that I'm trying to work on, it just stuns me. Wow. All right, so let me get back onto... This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. All right, so just to let you guys know, we are going to jump over to Rumble in about 10 minutes. If you'd like to join us over there, just go to fanfareshop.org/Rumble, and you can meet us over there. I didn't have time to edit the submissions. I will do that. We'll do it for tomorrow afternoon show. Tuesday, maybe we'll see a press conference. If there's a press conference, it'll give me time to actually do it. And then tomorrow night, we have Alpha Warrior is back with another interview. You guys loved him. We got a lot to talk about now. Now when we go to Rumble tomorrow night and talk about Alpha Warrior, we got a whole lot of stuff to talk about. And if you've been following his feed, he's on it too. He's on it. All right, so where am I? So I had mentioned to you that I felt the Democrats are screwed at this point. Segueing off the meeting, here's why I believe, in addition to everything else we've just heard, the Democrats are screwed.
The largest federal migrant detention center in American history has opened its doors. It is the latest effort to keep up with the Trump administration's mass deportation agenda. The migrant processing facility in Fort Bliss, Texas, near the U.S.-Mexico border, officially opening today. And News Nation correspondent Jorge Ventura is live in Texas. Jorge, who is expected and how many are expected to pack this mega facility?
Well, Natasha, the Trump administration continues to expand their mass deportation operation, and now we are learning that Fort Bliss is set to open today as an ICE detention facility with up to 1,000 beds already ready to go. Now, what ICE says is this is part of $1 billion project that will now reshape how migrants are detained and ultimately deported. That ICE
Alligator, Alcatraz, Deportation Depot, both of those here in Florida. This huge one at Fort Bliss. You can see what's about to happen. He told you, when I say he, Tom Homan said they're going to ramp things up. They are not being deterred by any of these judges. It is starting to get more and more and more. They had over 100,000 ICE applications. They're paying $50,000 or more in terms of sign-up bonuses. And now President Trump completely feels he has the power, the cachet, the absolute capital to go after his agenda full force. And they can't stop him. There's nothing they can do. These judges are found out to be feckless. Just imagine for yourself right now, if he's able to do all this, and as Pam and her team is 22-0, they can't stop him with the lawfare. Things are going to probably get a little bit dangerous. I'm not going to be kidding myself. This could get kind of crazy. It could get a lot crazy. I hope you guys are all prepared for it.
The opening today is part of a $1.2 billion Defense Department contract. This massive new detention complex will begin with 5,000 beds up to 2027. Now, inside that facility, detainees will have access to legal help, medical treatment.
Did he say 5,000? 5,000 short-term tenants. This isn't a jail. They're not moving in. They're not being sentenced. This is 5,000 churn and burn. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. 5,000 at any one time. This is massive. Many of us are like, how are we going to get all these people out of here? We're probably never going to get all of them out of here. But the last number that Kristi Noem said, it was like 1.7 million have done self-deportations. Now just do the math. If 1.6 have done self-deportations in the last 6 months, so at the end of the year, we would be looking at nearly 3 million people out. Today you heard President Trump said he's going to go after mail-in ballots. He's going to go after the machines. He's going to change the way ballots are tabulated. And so right now, what are the Democrats going to do? They're going to scream. They can go on their protests. I don't care. Go ahead and march down the street. It's kind of hot. You do what you want. That stuff will end in November, December. It get cold and they won't want to protest. But that's it. That's all you have? You can't file some stupid lawsuit? It'll get thrown out or overturned? What do you got? If I was a Democrat, and with what I'm going to show you in the next couple of clips, if I was a Democrat, I would be really thinking about, okay, we need to retool. This stuff ain't working anymore.
Areas and recreational space amenities, ICE insists that it will make it like a traditional facility. Supporters say it's meant to ease overcrowding at other detention centers and serve as a processing hub, sending migrants with final removal orders directly onto ICE air flights back to their home countries.
All right, we are getting some new video just in. This is from Chicago, and those are Democrats from Texas boarding a plane. Now,
I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh. I'm sorry, but they spent the last 2 weeks, last 15 days running. Oh, we're never giving in. We're gonna keep up the fight. We're gonna take this fight all the way. Nobody's going to stop us. We're gonna win. We're gonna win. We're gonna win. No, you're not. You're losers. Here, let me show you this if I can bring it up in time here. But they all went back today. They all had go back to work. And immediately they passed it. They passed it.
I guess we don't know exactly where the plane is headed at this point, but we do know that there are reports that Texas Democrats are planning to return to Texas today, ending their walkout, which are protesting Republican redistricting plans. So Texas Democrats getting on a plane in Chicago. If they go back to Texas, it will likely pave the way for Republicans to pass the new congressional map. Also today, in California, Democratic lawmakers have set to introduce new congressional maps they hope will offset what Republicans are doing in Texas.
I'm very concerned.
They can't win. They cannot win. I'm looking for the announcement. I thought I saw an announcement where it was immediately passed. I'm looking for it now to see if I can see it. Hold on. Let me see if I can bring it up for you, because I'm pretty sure I think they gavelled it in and did it. Let me just see here. I can't find it right now, but it's supposedly going to pass very, very soon, and then they'll unlike Texas, just so you know, Texas has to go and get a law passed and go through to try and get it done, but Texas, it's already done. It's already set to go. You're done. So you've got Kristi Noem and Tom Homan ramping up deportations, ICE doing whatever they want to do, wherever they want to do it. You can't stop that. And so what does Karen Bass do? Karen Bass, as most Democrats are going to do, it's you can write the script.
Concerned about that, and not only that, I'm concerned about the way he is rolling that out in Washington D.C., which is essentially going after young black and brown youth.
You mean the ones that are committing the crimes? See, I've never understood, even as a black man, I've never understood how you have a problem with the laws being enforced to increase safety, and you go after the people who are actually doing the crime if they just happen to be mostly black, i.e. brown, and even not that many brown, let's be honest. It's mostly black. Let's call you know what a what. Let's not pretend. Let's not beat around the bush here. We know exactly who's doing this stuff. And for the most part, we know what color they are. So, are you saying that we shouldn't be trying to stop the crime because by stopping the crime, you're targeting a certain bit of color? Do you understand how bat poop crazy that sounds? Yes, they are going to get arrested. Yes, most of them are black. But what's your alternative? Do nothing? People deserve to have safety. Sorry, Sorry if the knuckleheads happen to be a certain persuasion. That's who's doing the crime.
In Washington, D.C., imposing a curfew, saying that if they violate the curfew, the parents could be charged $500, saying that the kids...
I don't know about you, but when I was 13, 14, 15, 16, in the teen area, there was already a curfew, and the mayor didn't have to do it. Definitely the president didn't have to do it. Mom did it. Have your butt here by this time. We didn't think it was a curfew. That's when we were supposed to be home. So if the parents who are going to get charged for their kids not being home, I don't have a problem with that because they should have been doing it before. I am tired of complaining about black people can't stay and paint within the lines. You keep telling black people they can't get IDs. You keep telling other people black people can't use computers. And now you're telling the world black people can't stay their asses home when they're supposed to be home. I'm tired. I'm tired of the racist stuff that you do. I can use a computer. Pretty easy. I can go get an ID. I know if I was supposed to be home because mom and dad said I had to be home. Why are they making so many excuses for these people? And when I say these people, I'm not being racist. I'm like, that should be pretty much linear. White kids, Hispanic kids, black kids, Chinese kids, I don't care. There's no reason for a 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old kid to be out on the street that late at night. None. And almost all those other races teach their kids, don't have your butt outside at that time. Bring it home. And then, on top of all that, how are they out on the street if they got no IDs and they don't know how to use a computer or a cell phone? You can't have it both triple four ways. Black people can't vote. It's all bad. They can't get IDs. They're all poor. You don't need to be enforce a curfew. I mean, you don't have to be poor to be under the auspices of a curfew. In fact, your parents should have done that.
Kids could be detained and arrested. We've tried those policies before. They do not work. And it's my understanding that crime was going down in Washington, D.C.
And these media people don't challenge them. I'm going to show you some stuff when we jump over, is they're just lying. You know by this point, if you watch my shows or pretty much anybody's shows at this point, that they've been cooking the books. They've been lying the whole time. But when you got people like this in the media that just sit back and do this, that perpetuation of the lie continues. That's what I think is going to end up stopping and destroying the Democrats, because people with any sort of brain power are looking at this stuff going, you're lying. I've already seen the data. You're a liar. And you media guy who let them tell the lie, you're a liar as well.
What's the purpose of this?
They had sanctuary policies here in D.C. No longer. They've been working with us.
All right, so here comes Pam, which everybody hates for being on TV. But this message is, ooh, I likey this message. Again, here it comes. I can tell you she said this today or this evening and tomorrow. You can tell me, you can probably put it in the chat. You know what the response is going to be. When you hear what Pam says here, you're going to say, yep, I know what they're going to say.
You have to tell us if there are illegal aliens in your database. If we're arresting someone, we are going to know if they're an illegal alien. So last week I sent out 32 letters to mayors around the country, and I believe to 7 governors, telling them you better comply or you're next. If they don't comply with this, Larry, we're going to work with our other agencies to cut off their federal funding. We are going to send in law enforcement, just like we did during the LA riots, just like we're doing here in Washington, D.C. And if they're not going to keep their citizens safe, Donald Trump will keep them safe. That's what this is all about, making America safe again. That was his only directive, and that's what we're doing.
So she couldn't have been more clear. What you're seeing happening in Washington, D.C. will indeed spread to other cities. I think at this point, without even seeing the rest of what I'm going to show you, yeah, the Democrats are toast. Done. There's nothing they can do. If they're really going to roll this out to other cities, if he's going to put the military in Chicago, Detroit, and Baltimore, and New York City, they're done. They're already done. if they're going to put curfews, I can't even fathom what's about to happen. I'm so excited about what's about to happen. We are literally going to reclaim this country against the Democrats who are fighting for peace and safety and the safety of children. They are fighting against that. It is a losing argument. They cannot face people and say, I'm here for the people, because you're not. And so the media on that side of the coin, what are you going to report on? Trump is winning.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
You know, I've played that, I guess, a meme cut from his speech many, many, many times. And I sit back sometimes when I'm putting shows together, and I'm like, nobody's going to believe this. I've said this to Robin. Nobody's going to believe this. And I realize when I hit the switch to go on, I'm like, okay, you have to deliver it. But nobody's going to believe that this just keeps happening. I mean, like me, I get off of here, I'm eating dinner, I'm hanging out with Robin, and I'm scrolling, and before I can see it, she's like, did you see what happened? I'm like, no. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Are you serious? It just keeps going. 24/7 almost. This guy reminds me of like it might be a vampire or something. Somebody need to check his blood. He's up. He's working. He's pushing. And I'm like, damn, bro. You're not giving them any oxygen. They got no time to breathe. Bam. And then Pam Bondi, we're going to come to other cities. And I've used the term many times with you guys, flooding the zone. That's exactly what he's doing, and he's not letting up, not even this much. And I think you guys have seen it as well. You've seen the tone begin to, like you saw Claire McCaskill, she was pissed off because Trump is now training the media, per se. That's what she was basically saying, because it's true. We watched from the beginning how the media, when they were in the press room, would just fangs out, claws out, go after everything. And now, for the most part, they ain't got nothing to say. Even Caitlin Collins, she'll try once or twice, but it's like fighting a losing battle. What do you want me to say? What you want me to ask her what? So Mr. Trump, and then he... What happened there? I'm hearing something play in my ear. Oh, okay. And you hear her actually look in the camera, and she just has this defeatist look about her. So it's the media. They don't have anything they can go after. And it's happening more and more and more. And so as I'm putting together shows, and I'm pretty sure if people are doing research while they're doing their shows, they're seeing it too. And it's kind of scary. You're like, Barry, why is it scary? We're winning. It's kind of scary because you almost want to pinch yourself and say, am I really living through this? Am I really seeing what's happening here? Because none of us have ever seen it. I mean, even going back to Reagan, I've never seen anything like this. And so I can understand to the Democrats, some of them are demoralized. And on our side, I don't want you people, and I say that affectionately, I don't want the fanfare family to get complacent. I don't want you to wake up one morning and go, what did Trump do? He didn't do anything today. No, keep your excitement up. It's hard. It's almost like, being the coach of a really, really, really good team, and you don't want that letdown when you start playing the shitty teams, the bad teams. And right now, I feel like we almost have to cheerlead each other and go, hey, man, it's still good. Keep your energy level up. Be happy. Don't get down. Because it's like, can he continue? I mean, I remember saying it in May. Can he keep up this pace? I'm sure you looked at each other and went, can we really keep this pace up? I mean, it just seems like it's way too much. Ooh, okay, here's some breaking news. Talk about keeping the pace. Oh man, what is this? All right, so a couple of things for you here. Don't know what it is, just posted. A cargo ship has exploded in Baltimore Harbor. You can actually see the bridge, which collapsed after being rammed last year. Cause and casualty are not known. The ship just, that's not something that happens just by itself. Crazy. And then Nick had something else he posted, which is probably more important at this point. And again, the world is now knowing this man ain't playing. Just got posted. Breaking: the Trump administration has deployed 3 U.S. Navy guided missile destroyers and an attack submarine off the coast of Venezuela to combat the cartels. The U.S. military has finally taken threats to our homeland seriously. 4,000 sailors and Marines are expected to work in the region, and several air assets such as P-8 Poseidons will be deployed as well. The USS Gravely, and USS Jason Dunham, and the USS Sampson are warships being deployed. That's at 8:01. And this is what I'm saying. It just doesn't stop. Which means the bad guys can't relax. They knew of Biden about this time, 8 o'clock. Oh, Joe's done. He was done since like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. This guy, you don't know where it's coming from. You have no idea. He's launching warships at 8 o'clock at night. At the cartels. These people have to be wondering, he's cutting off our inroads with the newcomers coming across, and now he's also saying, we're done, we're going to come after you with the military. Wow. That's absolutely, it just keeps coming. It just keeps coming. All right, so let me take some comments from you guys. Maybe it had flammable items on it. Yeah, why would it have flammable items on it? Bye-bye cartels. Yeah, he's coming for him. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. This is getting, you're right. No other way to say it. This is getting real AF. Really. Nobody has seen anything like that. Like John says, yes, Beth, this is biblical. Yeah, yeah, this is crazy. And 50 million wanted dead or alive bounties on people like Maduro, which is really make you go in a bolt hole there, huh? God is standing up. Oh my gosh, that is so true. That is so true. What do we got here? So that. It just feels like something from, back in the days, the 1800s, the gunslingers out there. This guy's a gunslinger. He's not taking any crap, and I'm here for it. I'm actually here for it. All right, so we're going to be jumping over to Rumble right after I do the Super Chats here. And where's my banner? Okay, let me do that. Wow, so much happening. Again, keep your spirits up, because as demoralizing it is to them, I don't want you ever feel complacent. Don't feel complacent. I've said it many times. We need to just keep our feet on the neck of the Democrat Party. Just completely take them out. Just he's right there. He's literally right there. Give them no air, no quarter whatsoever, and have these people just shrivel up and go away. Wow, man, we are seeing some. I'm 60, as you guys know, I turned 65 today. I've never, ever seen what we're seeing. So if some of you guys are older than me, you can tell me, have you ever seen anything like this on a daily basis? I don't think you have. All right, Hauli La Hanau. Barry, hope you had an awesome day. I'm going to have to ask my wife what that means. Hauli La Hanau. I hope I'm saying it correctly, but thank you. Debbie Etheridge, happy birthday. Thank you very much. Mr. Wise Guy, those areas speak Russian Orthodox religion. Starfleet, MSNBC is going bye-bye. Yep, stick around, Starfleet. When we jump over, we're going to show that to you. MSNBC is going bye-bye as of today. MSNBC has officially announced it will rebrand as MSN Now, standing for My Source for News, Opinion, and World, as a part of a corporate separation from NBC Uni. Sorry. Wouldn't want to be you. Franco, thank you. Bridget Jones, thank you very much. Let's hope for peace. Let's pray for peace. Patricia Kuhn, happy birthday, Barry. Stay healthy. Great work. Thank you very much. Robin K, happy birthday. We recognize your selfless service to humanity. Thank you very much. I enjoy this too. I forgot to ask my wife to order dinner. Wait a second. Doc Webb, Barry, I just received the Trump signature knife. I almost cut my I'm gonna have to go ahead and screenshot that. I almost cut my damn finger off. I'm not gonna laugh at you again when you gingerly hold it. I'm telling you. We're gonna talk about that after the break. I keep warning people. I'm like, hey man, this thing is sharp. It should come with a warning. Thank you, Doc. Patricia Kuhn, sadly, the Democrats will be against finding the kids, those that are alive. It breaks my heart. Just think about the trauma they've been through. Robin used to volunteer at a center. I'm like, honey, I can't take the stories anymore. Ed Sloan, Barry, first of all, happy birthday. Thank you. Mine was the 15th, and I got my Bible today. Thank you, and God bless you. I'm so happy. Thank you. Buddy Sanders, remember Truman told de Gaulle that Vietnam would continue to be a French colony in 1946. Screw France and their piece of crap. The poopy hath hitteth the fan. Big time. Exactly. Beverly Litton, where'd that go? There, look up the YouTube with Jack Hibbs and Charlie Kirk. Okay, I shall. Tommy Irwin, God is an enemy of anyone who would actively seek to harm a child. Any child. And that's black, white, Hispanic, I don't care. You touch a child, yeah. Critter 3, listen to all, say, text, email, TRICARE for life. Please take me off your list to get rid of all Medicare insurance salesperson. Oh, okay. Even if you weren't in the military, TRICARE for life. Yeah, they keep calling. Tommy Irwin, thanks, Barry, for doing all the heavy lifting for us today. On your birthday, the winning continues. Thank you very much. Nikki P, happy birthday, thank you. And Rick Nelson, happy birthday, thank you. All right, so we're going to be going over to Rumble. I got some music for you. I think I got some good music for you. Yeah. And in terms of, to me, it was appropriate for the day. This guy is not taking any prisoners whatsoever. All right, so meet me on the other side shortly. As you know, I'm going to play the break, and then when the break's done, we'll be over there. Thanks, everybody. See you over on Rumble.